Woo! Absolutely engulfed the hopper. Yes! 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 Holy sh! Look at this fish! Look at this fish! Oh my god.
What's up, everyone? It's Joey. I am so stoked to be bringing y'all along with me today. I am on my way from home to the central Wyoming area right now. I'm going to be spending the next 5 days driving across Wyoming, exploring some of the most famous water in the state, exploring some of the most famous landscapes in the state, hopefully seeing some wildlife.
That is a very large osprey.
A black bear walked right behind my camp, catching some big fish.
Yeah? Do you have a tape measure?
And in general, just having a great time by myself in nature. I'm stoked to bring you along with me. Thank you for tuning in. Genuinely, this is one of the trips I've been most excited for in my entire life. So I hope you enjoy watching. I'm certainly gonna enjoy watching back on it. So thanks for tuning in, and you're in for an adventure. It's gonna be some weather over these next couple days. And as I drove across the snow-covered, frost-packed landscape, it became evident that the weather forecast that I had been looking at over the last week was not lying. That first night was supposed to get down to below freezing. In fact, about 10 degrees below freezing. So I knew that the gear that I had bought and prepped and packed was well worth it. I had packed plenty of extra layers, a sleeping bag that was designed for 0 degrees, and honestly, I'm really glad that I brought all of the extra gear that I did, because passing by all of this snow and these almost frozen looking rivers made me kind of anxious for the first day. But there's a reason that I made this trip happen, and it's because I had heard stories of massive cutthroat trout coming up to sip dry flies out of some of the biggest rivers in the country, and I had heard tales of big brown trout that you could catch on streamers or mice patterns, and honestly, I just couldn't stay away. I made the trip happen no matter what the weather was going to be. So here I was on my way to the first camping spot of the trip, and although the weather was definitely looking like it was going to be a little cold, snowy, icy, I was still just so excited to get a line in the water and fish for some of these legendary Wyoming fish. All right, what's up, y'all? I just stopped in to the closest fly shop to where I'm gonna be staying, and I wanna give a big shout out to the Reef Fly Shop here by Gray Reef. They are super knowledgeable. They gave me a ton of great info, a lot of good stuff to digest on kind of how to tackle this big of water since I'm not used to it. So I am going to go check out a camp spot, try to get my, my camp set up and reserved so that I don't have to worry about that. And then I'm probably gonna spend the remainder of the day fishing. There's a chance that I could catch some good sized fish out of here. There is a healthy population of all sorts of good stuff in this. So lots of rainbows, some cutthroats, and then a small population of very impressive browns. So we'll see if we can get hooked into some fish today. I'm gonna throw streamers, I'm gonna throw all sorts of stuff. We'll see. We'll see what ends up working, but at this point, I might show you camp when I get it set up, but other than that, I'll see you on the water. Okay. Whoa. Ugh. First look at the river is great. Getting down is so difficult.
Whew. All right. There are a lot of birds coming off the water, which means there are bugs coming off the water. So, I think first I should make it down to that point, and then work my way back up into this seam. Me up, dude. Okay.
And that was just the beginning of me learning the difficulty of some of the rivers here in Wyoming. Casting into the wind with all of that behind me really showed me the value of having a strong, fast-action rod and being good at roll casting, which at this point I was not. I'm a little better at it now, but man, did this trip show me the value in knowing how to roll cast. But alas, I worked my way upriver after making a few casts with the streamer, and just started picking apart all the water that I could access, using these backhanded casts to get my fly as far out into the middle as I could.
Oh my god, dude. This is definitely the biggest water I've ever fished. I've got pronghorn on the hill in front of me, camp set up. Looks like a good a day as any to not catch any fish. There are definitely bugs coming off the water. Enough for the birds to be loving it. Just got my first real bite. It's on a streamer, so I'm going to continue throwing the streamer around. I'm going to be a little sporadic with it because that seemed to be what was... Huh? Another fish surfaced back over there. Definitely fish in this area. Streamers seem to be getting some movement right now, which makes sense. It's low pressure, low light. Right.
So after picking apart the lower section of what is the most promising pool I had seen so far, I decided to work my way up a little bit. I continued throwing the streamer since that's what was getting bit, and of course, the battery on the camera died right before...
Alright. I'm gonna make sure that this is recording, so bear with me a sec. But it is, alright. I finally got my first fish of the trip. There's a gorgeous rainbow on the streamer. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Very green. So feisty. Nice. Alright. So far, the goal is alright. I just needed to catch a fish in each spot. that I'm going to is the only goal that I really set. And today was definitely going to be one of the harder days due to the weather, so that makes me very, very happy that I managed to bring one in during the snow.
And I learned a lot of lessons on this trip, but one of the ones I learned in this spot was just to be there when the bite window turns on. And the previous bite and then that last fish kind of showed me that that window had come.
Whew. That was a hell of a bite. Oh. Whew. Oh. Okay. Wow. What a hell of a bite that one was. Wow. Stunning fish. Gorgeous. There are definitely plenty of fish in this water. I've gotten a good number of bites on streamers, which means they're competing for food. I find that streamers typically only work for me in water where there's solid populations of fish, because otherwise, if there's like not a ton of fish, let go of my line hand there. If there's not a ton of fish in the water, I find that there's just an abundance of bug food, and they just don't have to go after other fish. So they just don't bite on streamers as well in those areas. But like, man, these waters where there's really healthy populations, God, let go of my line hand again, my fingers are getting cold. Streamers seem to really get the work done. All right, one more. All right, maybe one more. There we go. That's exactly where I wanted it to. All right. Call it on this spot.
And the cold air was definitely starting to get to my fingers, and that Wyoming wind had not stopped blowing. So I definitely got my fly stuck behind me in the tall Wyoming grass a couple times, and with that, I learned a very, very valuable lesson as to how to not get snags out. Well, I f***ed up, which is of course never something you want to be able to say on a fishing trip, but I snapped my streamer rod in a few pieces, unfortunately. Here's the other two. Ugh. And it was just pulling it out of a snag. It wasn't even on a fish or something cool. I just suck. Yeah, caught 3 fish today. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I'm pissed off that I snapped that rod. But it's supposed to be the coldest night of the trip, so I'm gonna pack it in, kind of just make an early night of it. But I'll see you all tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is cold. I managed to stay warm in my tent last night, despite literally everything being just covered in a thin layer of ice because we got some freezing rain last night. Yeah, I'm really glad I brought all of the insulating layers that I did, because it's probably about the chilliest that I would want to be while camping, honestly. But I'm gonna take advantage of it being the coldest part of my trip and knock out one of the longest drives of my trip. Instead of fishing this morning, I'm gonna call it a wrap on this section of the North Platte River. I am confident that I'll be coming back here to fish again, including other sections near here. So I am going to make the hike up to Grand Teton National Park. I will see you all there.
What's up, everyone? It's day 2, so that means today I'm in the Tetons. I've probably shown some footage leading up to now that has just been the most beautiful drive I've probably ever taken, at least in my adult life. And honestly, camping site-wise, it's pretty hard to complain for a busy national park. Because, like, it's got a nice flat spot. Car's over there. I left my lights on. I'm about to get in there in a sec. But yeah, I went and scoped out the lake. I'm camping on Jenny Lake in Grand Teton National Park, and it is stunning. It's a beautiful lake. It's crystal clear. Unfortunately, when it comes to fishing, it looks like most of the lake has kind of a gravel bar or rock bar that goes out like 20 yards from the bank. So I tried throwing a couple casts around, but I just can't get to that drop off, and it's crystal clear, and I could not see any fish cruising around any more shallow than the drop off. Didn't see anything surfacing. So if my goal is to try to catch a fish on every day of this trip, I don't think it's going to happen there. It's still early enough in the day that I can go hit one or two of the rivers maybe that's here in the area. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm very close to the Snake River, which is maybe the most famous fly fishing river in the country, so I'm stoked to try to fish that again. I have fished a section of it one other time, 2 years ago, up in Idaho. Some of the best fishing I've ever done, so yeah. I haven't quite decided if that's what I'm going to do yet, but probably. We'll see, though. Meet you out there. Alright, time to fish the snake. Yeah, so you see how I just kind of whipped the water on that cast? You're not supposed to do that. That can spook fish. But that leads me to the next lesson that I learned on this trip, which on this section of water was how to fish with really deep flies. This section of water was 8 to 12 feet deep where I was fishing, and I knew that a lot of the fish were sitting right along the bottom. So I had to put a lot of space between my indicator and my flies, and I had to put a lot of weight on to get my flies down deep so that I could kind of target those fish. Nice. But after watching the person upriver from me catch fish after fish after fish, I knew that there was something that I needed to be doing to get into some myself. So I went up there, chatted his ear off a little bit. Turns out that he was catching lake trout, which I was really hoping to get into. I did not, spoiler alert, but I added a little extra depth and weight to my flies and kept running them through deeper and deeper water until finally I started to get some bites. Unfortunately, I knew going into this trip that I would have limited space on the GoPro. So, because the fishing was a little slow, I decided to turn off the camera, and of course, it was right before...
Yeah! Big one! Alright, I just caught, this is probably my personal best gutty, honestly. This is a monster fish. It felt like I was on bottom when I first hooked this thing. Holy, okay. Well, that right there is that's gotta be over 20. That's gotta be over 20. I gotta measure this thing against my rod. Yeah. Do you have a tape measure? Ready. Yeah, gorgeous cutthroat. Those fine spots.
20, it's at least 20.
There we go.
20.
20. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
And with that, there went my personal best cutthroat. Snake River definitely did not fail to live up to its reputation, and I kept throwing casts through, got another bite or two, but honestly, I was living on the high of that fish for the rest of the night. And although I had only caught that one fish, there was someone fishing upstream of me and multiple people downstream, so I beat up the spot that I was in pretty much as I could, switched flies a few times, switched up my depth, but eventually decided just to call it an early night. I had accomplished what I had set out to do, which was catch a fish. And as of right now, the goal for catching a fish on each day of the trip or in each spot of the trip had been accomplished. So I was excited to head back to this gorgeous national park camp that I had set up and have myself some dinner.
Okay. I only spent like 2 or 3 hours down there, and I caught my personal best cutthroat. So I am stoked about that. It was definitely a Snake River cutthroat, given that it came from the Snake River. Also, it had the fine spots on its backside, and man, that was just a stunning fish. Absolutely stunning fish. I am satisfied with this basically whole trip now. Having seen the Tetons, having caught a personal best fish and a cutthroat nonetheless, way bigger than any cutthroat I can catch in Colorado, most likely. Yeah, I'm floored. I'm having a great time already. So yeah, I'm gonna head back to camp, enjoy myself a beverage, and just kind of relax, because I earned it. And I feel like the next couple days I'm going to be fishing really hard, so the rest of the day today I'm just going to really take it easy. If I get back in time, I'm going to take a shower. I have to buy a shower token to do that, but if I get back in time, I'm going to do that. But I'll see you back at camp.
One of my favorite quotes and sentiments is that it's not the destination, it's the journey. And honestly, this drive through Grand Teton National Park, seeing those jagged peaks, was just the bow that wrapped that sentiment up for me. It's something that I've always believed, and I've always had such an appreciation for a scenic drive, but this one really took my breath away.
Okay. I haven't gotten used to filming, but I made a fire. And I'm roasting Schweinies. Yeah. Yeah. There's just nothing quite like eating a hot dog by the campfire, roasted on the campfire. Alright, y'all. I had 3 hot dogs. I had a bunch of chips and dip. I am wiped. Walked down by the lake, watched the sunset, called my dad. It's been a fantastic evening. So I'm going to pack up, get ready for bed, because I have some more driving to do tomorrow. And I think tomorrow is going to be a little bit more of a hardcore fishing day. I'm going to call it an early night. I will see y'all in the morning. Peace. Yo, so the battery was dead when I tried to come grab the camera, but I'll try to include the really crappy videos and photos that I took on my phone. As I was packing up camp this morning, a black bear walked right behind my camp. And huge, gorgeous bear. I am over the moon happy. That's the closest I've been to a wild bear by far. And it's just a stunning creature. It had zero interest in me whatsoever, which I love. Yeah,
I feel like that really makes the Grand Teton trip complete. Now I just gotta go catch a couple more fish, and this trip is solid. Yeah. I'm gonna start making my way to my next spot. See y'all there.
So, this is why we're carrying bear spray. Bear spray down there, because not only have I seen a lot of bears scat around, but some of these tracks are in fact bear tracks. Hard to make out perfectly, but they sure are. Also moose tracks though, so I gotta be careful in general. Go there.
Okay. Ooh, that's a nice cutty. Right as I looked back to say, hey bear, the hopper went under. It was a super subtle eat. Looks like he's on the sow bug on the bottom. Oh, I'm so glad I bought some of these for this trip. Get out of that deep stuff. Come on. Ooh, it's a nice cutty. Come on. Okay, you want to go down? No, downstream, downstream. Or just into more shallow of water, please. God, he's fighting. He's got so much fight in him. That is such a strong fish. Oh my God. The thing's fighting harder than the 20-incher that I got yesterday. Oh, he's getting tuckered. He's getting tuckered. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sow bug right in the nose. Right in the schnoz. Come on, yes! Oh, that's such a nice fish. Oh, that's such a nice fish. Oh, and the hook popped out in the net. Oh. Oh. Wow, that's such a nice fish. Oh God, he's got the other one in his mouth too. Maybe that's the one he bit. It's the caddis. All right. Wow, that is a stunning cutthroat. Dude, that thing's got to be like 18. That is such a nice fish. Wow. I'm gonna get a good photo of this guy on my phone as well. Wow. Stunning. And even though it's not an unknown river, I'm still not gonna spot bird in this one. This is not the Tetons, so. Wow, that was such a nice fish. Ooh. God, that was literally the next cast. Next cast in there. Next cast in there on the sow bug. Ooh. Damn, that thing is tugging. These are strong, strong fish. Oh my goodness, this thing is tearing. Come on, get into the softer water. Dude, this thing just has so much muscle on it. Wow. Is that a rainbow? No, that's a cutty. It's just a very colorful cutty. Wow. God, it's so strong. Okay, shallow stuff, shallow. More shallow water. More shallow water. Next cast fish, come on. Yes! Whoa. Wow. That is even more colored up than the first one. Oh my God. Holy crap. Holy crap. That sow bug, sure enough. I am very glad that I was recommended that fly, because goodness gracious, these cutties have some teeth on them too. Ow! Yeah, he just bit me. Look at that. Got teeth on their tongue. There we go. Wow. Yeah, look at the cutthroat on that one. Whew. Wow. Probably another like 17. Absolutely gorgeous fish. 17, 18. So much spunk. Holy hell. All right. So far, this is the best fishing day of the trip already. Loving this. And this river is huge, so I'm glad I found a good seam on it. Okay. Just in case the looking ahead or whatever feature isn't working on the GoPro, I'm just gonna get a cast in there after turning it on. Next cast, third cast in a row. Third cast in a row. Holy hell. Third cast in a row. Wow. That is amazing. And that's on the caddis. That's on my home type. Oh my God. Yes. That's on my homebrew pattern. We take those. Stay in the water. Stay in the water. Oh, and there he goes. All right. That was another right after the other. I just caught 3 fish in a row after not having any bites when I first showed up too. That's pretty awesome. Evidently it just turned on.
Yes, it had. And this was just confirmation of the lesson that I started learning that first day, and even before that in fly fishing, which was you just have to be on the water when that window hits.
Okay, so I'm just jump to the right. It tells me that there's still fish in the pocket that I'm fishing and not just further up where I caught the other ones. Whoa! As soon as that thing bit, it took off. And it is staying down. Wow. Oh, that's a really strong fish. Okay. That is a really strong fish. Holy hell. Okay. Oh, that's not a great sound on the reel, but I want to get this thing up to the reel. Wow. That is such a strong fish. Ooh. Okay. Come on. Ooh. Shallow water, shallow water. That is a really strong fish. Wow. The fish in this river are so strong. Okay. I have this thing where I want it in terms of line. Now I just need to get it in. Whew. That is such a strong fish. Come on. Stay over here. Nope, it's not ready. Okay. Head up, head up. Yep. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Oh, nice. Whoa. Oh my God. Dude. Oh my God. This is incredible. And he ate the homebrew. I'm just gonna double check. Yep, I'm recording. Have you seen this? This has got to be just shy of 20. This is almost as big as the one I caught yesterday. Wow. I think this is a cut bow too. Stunning cut bow. Wow.
show y'all my horrible hair so that I can get, hopefully, good angle on this cut bow, because this thing is just stunning. Look at that fish. I mean, absolutely gorgeous proportions. And I'm gonna let it go. That was one of the hardest fighting trout I have ever caught by far. Wow. Okay. I didn't get the eat live, but this is my first hopper eat of the trip, and this is probably the most beautiful cutthroat trout I've ever caught. Like, sorry greenbacks, but holy shit. Absolutely engulfed the hopper. Yes! 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 Holy shit. Look at this fish. Look at this fish. Oh my God. That. Wow, he's got a hell of a sore on him. Like he had a big ass lamprey on him or something. But man, that hopper right in the corner. Those teeth are gnarly. Holy hell. That is just one of the most beautiful fish I've ever caught. Oh my goodness. You don't have it on both sides, do you? Nope. Okay. Wow. I cannot stress enough how beautiful this fish is. That's 20. That's as big as the one I caught yesterday. Okay, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna get my phone out for this one. This is just one of the most beautiful fish I've ever even seen. This is now tied with, let's wash you off a little bit, my personal best cutthroat. Some gnarly chompers. Oh, there was so much red on that fish. Okay, despite how good of luck I'm having here, I have too much time today to just fish one spot. So I am gonna work my way upstream, and if I cannot find another nice fishy spot throughout the day, then I'll come back here before I leave. But I should try to cover some ground since I'm exploring new places. But holy sh*, this spot just became one of my favorite spots to fish ever in the whole world. Wow.
And so I worked my way upriver, fishing some of the most beautiful water I'd ever seen in my life. And although I caught one or two other small cutthroat, I decided not to record a whole lot of it. I ended up kind of cutting the camera for a lot of it, enjoying the day, and just really admiring this beautiful fishery.
Wow, that is crystal clear. All the little bait fish are interested. Didn't see anything spook. I also don't see any bigger fish in here. That is a very large osprey. Wow, that's a gorgeous bird. There's some cutthroat down there if you want them. Huh.
So, after throwing a few more casts around and watching this big, beautiful bird fly around and potentially spook all the fish off, I decided to work my way upriver, try a couple new spots, and try to hook into some of the big brown trout that I had heard can be in this river. What I didn't learn until after the trip is that it was a specific strain of European brown trout that can grow pretty large and have beautiful colors.
All right, y'all. Here is my first brown of the trip. It's got some of the largest spots of a brown I've ever seen. Came up and smacked the dry. Woo. Had a cutthroat come up and smack it on the cast before. Oh my God, dude. Calm down. Brother. That's a fat brown. I just want to get this damn hook out of your mouth, bro. Wow, that wasn't coming out without some effort. Oh. Beautiful fish. Whoa. There we go. Let's see if they're still interested.
And fishing this long, crystal clear, canal-like section of water was honestly really interesting because I didn't see any fish, but they certainly were coming up to eat. I ended up catching 2 to 3 pretty decent-sized trout out of this section.
Just because I don't see the fish in there doesn't mean they're not there. In fact, that probably means they are there because I didn't see the last 2 and both of them were good size, so. Scoot up a little bit again.
Now, at this point, I was starting to run really low on space on the SD card, so I only really recorded a little bit of this section. I didn't record all of the fish that I caught here because most of them were quite a bit smaller than what I had caught in the previous section of the river, and only one of them was a brown. So I decided to pack up and move on.
All right, you're getting real authentic Joey. Greasy hair, out of breath. Wow. The fishing after that one very exciting period of time really died off, which really goes to show, like, one of the biggest benefits to taking a multiple day trip like this is just having the opportunity to be there during the window when everything is on fire, which evidently I hit it during because wow. Those were incredible fish. I've still been fishing for another probably 2 hours after that, and I caught 1 or 2 smaller ones, but nothing crazy.
Now, at this point, my plan was just to head back to camp, have a relaxing evening, and just kind of get ready for that final drive to the final spot of the trip. I was starting to run out of space on the GoPro, so I made the mistake of not bringing it down to the river in my final little outing down on my way back to camp. And of course, that's when I caught...
And that right there is the second personal best of the trip. That is what a 21, over 21 inch brown looks like, just shy of 22. This fish is incredible. This is definitely the heaviest trout I have ever caught. Oh. What? Like, oh my God. Wow. All right. Whew. He wants it gone.
And after catching a massive brown on a pretty small nymph fly that I tied at home, I was satisfied with my fishing for the entire trip. I could not have been happier, so I decided to pack it up go back to camp and just relax next to the river for the rest of the evening. But those 30-degree nights really started to wear me down. Good morning, everyone. I am on my way to the final camp spot of the day. Of the trip. Can you tell I'm tired? My body is probably getting tired of sleeping on a cot and sleeping pad and all that, so I have had an absolute blast. The drive today is supposed to be stunning. I am really excited for the section of the state that I'm driving through today. And as I made my way through one of the sections of Wyoming that I was looking forward to the most before the trip, I couldn't help but just reflect on the last couple of days. It had been one of the best vacations I had ever taken in my life. And although it was spent alone, I knew that I was going to get to share it afterwards. So I was so satisfied. And honestly, it made me kind of unmotivated for that last day. The weather said it was just going to be rainy and cold, and the whole point of that last day was to fish. So honestly, after the experiences that I had had, the memories I had made, I felt like I had accomplished all the goals that I had set for myself for this trip. So I called the audible. Okay, so today and tomorrow in the area that I was planning on camping are supposed to be rainy, windy, cold, and the spot that I was planning on staying was really out in the middle of nowhere, with first come, first serve camping spots, and with it supposed to be raining and windy all night, kind of defeats the purpose of that final spot, which was solely fishing. And with that one being the closest to home anyway, I can go back and do that one as another trip at some point in the future. So I'm gonna call the audible, and I'm gonna call it a wrap on the trip. I have accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish for the trip. Caught a personal best cutthroat, personal best brown trout, a couple more monster cutthroat trout.
Wow.
Caught stuff on streamers. I saw a bear. So many osprey. Some of the most gorgeous scenery I have ever seen in my life. And this trip has been really something special for me. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, being interested in what I do, because being able to share a trip like this with someone is the whole reason why I brought the camera along. Makes it more special for me. So, thanks for tuning in, and I will see all of you on the next video. See ya.